Alright, hey guys, I was going through Bing yesterday, search engine. I was looking at the wallpapers, and there was a headline that two troopers had been killed. It was a big deal because it was troopers. Troopers had been killed. Oh, in the line of duty. Oh. Anyway, sorry. But, you know, I hate to say this, but, it brought up the question of when is it okay to kill cops, shoot cops, shoot for the purpose to kill, whatever. And that's not what I hate to say. But what I hate to say is that, you know, in all honesty, it's okay to shoot cops. It's okay to shoot cops. Period. There ought to be a shoot to kill wanted uh, warrant on each and every single one of them. That's if you believe that doing wrong should result in some type of punishment, because they do a lot of wrong. And just because hey, at least half of what I do is legitimate and doesn't have to do with enslaving people, doesn't mean that it's okay to enslave people. You know, I mean, seriously, if you've enslaved, let's say you've enslaved 10 people for a total combined number of, they're gonna go for, let's say, 50 years. Let's say 30. Um, just for the purpose of, causing that, and then as a result of that, you're gonna help perpetuate a black market that is involved in, man, it's homicides, shootings, or it creates this stuff. um, Man, I mean, and then you ask yourself, what? I mean, I don't know. I would have to think more in terms of exactly how many people have you put into enslavement? You know what I mean? And you played a very active role in that. So, in my opinion, you should be eligible for uh, imprisonment for, at least life, or execution. And so that's not to say that, you know, maybe you didn't see it as being bad because you had a victimized class in your mind of people that it was okay to do that to. Uh, but really you knew it was bad. But that's how that's how Nazi Germany happens. I mean, they are a victimized group of people, but uh, everybody hates them. You know what I mean? Let's just do it. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, in the end, you're sitting there saying, "How could I be eligible for that?" You know what I mean? And it's like, man, it's just real easy for it to get to that point, and it's just unfortunate that you were one of the people that got involved in it, and for you, it's gonna be more like, man, I tell you, it's just what should be. You know what I mean? But my God. Anyways, the point of the story is, yeah, the point of the story is it's just what should be. I think I got a lot of stuff going through my head or something. But either way, you know, yeah, for you at least, that it's just what should be. You know what I mean? But some of you, and so I think that's what's making me think is because some of you are actually probably gonna actually end up getting killed, in the line of fire or line of duty or in the line of enslavement. Um, and as a result of doing that, man, it puts you in harm's way. I mean, and plus that, now you've manifested all kinds of bloodthirsty gangs that thrive on violence. They're putting you head to head with them. A lot of them are gonna shoot. Well, I mean, a lot of times they want them to shoot. I've met guys that I ran into later on in life that I knew from middle school, and they said something about getting raided, and said that while the guys were on their way up, they were yelling stuff like MS-13 or something like that, because I don't know. I guess the guy was involved in some kind of gang or something. And even a gang, as criminal as that sounds, to be honest with you, it's not even criminal, you know, because all you're doing is seeking a way to to okay, enforce your right to property, okay, and that's not criminal. But what ends up getting out of control is the mind state that is perpetuated by the lawlessness. Um, it becomes misguided, and it already is misguided. So you're just asking people to become more misguided. And then you have kids showing up on the side of riverbanks, you know, dead as some kind of, testimony to how bloodthirsty you are or something. I mean, seriously, these people, they've got these gangs have got in this mind state where they want to kill people. And if you're white or something, hey, that's a good enough reason to kill you, you know? And that's another thing altogether. I mean, a lot of the quote-unquote what some people find is like a gang mentality, or pulling your pants down around your ankles, and walking around and talking out the side of your mouth, and a lot of that stupidity and stupid behavior comes as a result of the gang mind state. So anyways, the point of this, or the rotting culture of the misguided black market or whatever, I mean, it's not going to be good. So other than that, excuse me, I'm not out here saying like, hurt people who want to do good. You know what I mean? I'm saying if somebody is coming against you, it's a good enough reason to defend yourself. All right? You shouldn't have to have somebody tell you that. You know what I mean? But I'm sitting here telling you that yeah, they got it coming, man. They got it coming. Trust me. They more than got it coming. And I mean, they just got it coming, man. I mean, the number of people that they've enslaved. Oh my goodness. I just sit here and think about it, and I'm a little beside myself. Excuse me. A little beside myself. Wow, I think I'm gonna do it again. Oh man. Anyways, it's a joke, man. It's a joke of a situation, and that's not a joke actually. And I'm sitting here watching these shows on television, these cop shows, and they come in, they swoop in, they get this girl completely surrounded, and she's selling pills, I think, prescription medication. Somebody who doesn't have a prescription. And it's like, who knows? I mean, maybe the guy gets a little buzz, cops a buzz. God forbid you copped a buzz. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, give me a break. And it really does liken to the story of Jesus Christ pardoning the prostitute, Because here's all these people, oh, we're going to get high and mighty on you. Yeah, you aren't supposed to be, you know what I mean, doing that. You know what I mean? This is my moment in the sun to judge somebody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And to do so through violence to really reinforce it. You know what I mean? That narcissism. That narcissistic superiority complex that you have. And, to be perfectly honest with you, that's exactly what's going on. And, it's disgusting. Because really, Jesus Christ made it simple. He just said, look, first one of you who hasn't done anything wrong, just go on ahead. Because really, it's like caveman out in the street with a rock. Oh, I mean, seriously, I mean, they had to throw the rocks down. They're like, dude, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's the point we're getting to. So, you know, that's just a beautiful story to me, man. To think about, you know, that I really believe that happened. To be honest with you, and I'll just tell you, man. You know, you need to just go ahead and read the Bible. To be honest with you, because I'm telling you, I feel like honestly I've read some pretty powerful stuff, and I mean, I'm just telling you. Actually read it. You know what I mean? Don't go to church and hear somebody talk to you about what they read. You know what I mean? Because it's most likely misled, completely misguided. Let me tell you something. First of all this 501c3 stuff, you know, we're gonna take God out of church because we're gonna actually strong arm you with a criminal activity, which is the IRS. This is exactly what he's talking about. You know, I take the tax collectors and hang out with them because they're the sick ones. You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly who is sick. And, you know, see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't take it out. You know what I'm saying? And so, as soon as you've done that, you're not even at church, really. I mean, not under the Bible, you know? And, it's a bunch of thugs, man. And, anyways, it's an incredible... it's incredible stuff, man. Let me just tell you right now. It's incredible. What I see every day. I'm just telling you, man, really sit down and read some of this stuff and it'll blow you away, man. You know? I can't promise you the sun and the moon and the stars, you know? But you know, if we would do that as a society, I could promise you the sun, moon, and the stars, because there wouldn't be anything getting in the way of a lot of people and being at least somewhat happy, because the way the society is going right now is not good. You know, I think that's a little bit of an understatement, and feels like nobody's at the wheel, and that's kind of like a mutually acknowledged fact. You know, like, hey, it's like the Titanic's going down. You still hear the music going, you know, and you know, hey, you know what I mean? Like rats on a sinking ship, man. Golly. I mean, I just feel like if you can just get people to sit down, you know, and think about this stuff. You don't have to be anyone special. You know what I mean? Because eventually, it's just going to come down to self-preservation for everybody. Okay? And even I feel like I could sit down with David Rockefeller and be like, dude, self-preservation, please. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And maybe even get through to that demon. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, on some level, yeah. On some very, very small level. But it would have to do with what's in it for him. You know what I mean? And what he thinks is in it for him is to destroy society so that he can be at the top. And I just think that you can't do that, man. You know what I mean? I mean, couldn't you just get away with a little bit less, you know? Anyways, because, I mean, once you're putting in, you know, documents that say stuff like, and I'm talking about meetings, documents, this is what I'm talking about, a document, but these are meetings that they had. And you're actually sitting there at the meetings and you're going like, hey, yeah, and let's just keep a high level of pollution because that'll, you know, they did, man. They actually sat down and said that, you know? It's called the Report from Iron Mountain. Iron Mountain. And it's just, I'm a little beside myself on that one. I just can't believe it. Because by the time you're thinking about stuff like that, man, I mean, seriously, you're fucked. And that's about the point you need to sit down. That's about the point you need to sit down and say, you know, I think this might be like committing suicide. I mean, do we want to just do it now, or, I mean, you're not going to live forever, you know. Excuse me. Anyways. Sitting here talking. Anyways, you're not going to live forever, you know. I mean, don't you care about your family at all? I mean, don't you care about what happens to them after you're gone? I mean, at all? You know? I feel like I have something in my nose and I'm sitting here trying to hawk it up and it's not in there anything. Something in my head. Anyways, the point is or allergies from all sneezing, I don't know. Something's flaming up back there. Anyways, sorry. Oh man, it's just I know that they at least care about themselves. So you'd think anyways. They may not, man. They may not. Seriously. And that's a little unbelievable, you know? And I just don't think they're even thinking about it. I just think like, yeah, well, you know, if the world was all about me, then this is how I would act. And they're so old and feeble-minded that they don't even think about it, you know? They don't think about, hey, you know what, I'm going to regret this one day, or I would regret it, you know what I mean? I would regret this if I had some of my sense left, you know, from the dementia and the old age and stuff, you know. I mean, that's kind of bad, you know. I mean, at a certain point in your life, you ought to have somebody else taking care of you, caretaking of you, you know, and basically sitting down and saying, okay, now we're gonna take care of the decisions, the big decisions. It's gonna be ours. Because this dude's about 98 years old, 99. He may even be 100 now. I don't know. And yeah, I'm sure, you know, sure he gets the best medical care and all that, you know. And that's one of the reasons why he's thinking about the stuff the way he's thinking about it. But at the same time, I mean, you're destroying the world, man. You're destroying the medical industry. You're destroying medical advancement, period. You know, that's how they think, you know, like, just, and it's crazy. Like David Rockefeller himself, I've read about how he went to school and studied communism and socialism and in college and stuff like this. But I mean, either way, I mean, even if you do make it, you know, an extra 20 or 30 years, I mean, you're gonna pollute up the entire environment to the point where you got pollutants swimming around in your body too. You're gonna destroy your way of life. And another thing is I had a kind of like it was a family member of a family member who was more or less a friend of mine, and ended up having a heart attack. And the surgeon said, when he came in, he was still moving and stuff, moving quite a bit, and within a couple days he was brain dead. Well, I mean, I know that Jay Rockefeller does sit down and has conferences and stuff where he's like, what are we gonna do about these people? I mean, should we let them decide if they should go on living or not? Man, I don't know. And he sits there and he's like, maybe we ought to decide for them. You know what I mean? And set forth a panel to decide for them. And then at that point, it's basically like, well, there's too many people in the world. Hell, their way of life is not good. It doesn't justify keeping them alive. If there's too many people in the world, that's no way to live. Let's go ahead and cut them off, cut them loose, man. Find different ways to kill them. And even if it isn't going on, it's just a setup for failure with all the monopolies and everything, especially in medical. I mean, even with Obamacare, quote unquote, it's still, or Bozo Care, or no, I mean, the new monopolization of the medical industry, and all this. That's just a small last dagger in their heart of what's left. And to be honest with you, the whole thing is just nothing but a monolith. It's a monolithic monopoly. And it's all set up through the Federal Reserve, and all these different families run the whole damn thing and everything else. I've read the books on it. I know what's going on. My God. That dog, man, across the street. And this is another thing, too. When you end up with neighbors like this, I actually have gone outside and seen the dude just riling the dog up. And they got him in a fenced-in area on the front of the house where he does nothing but harasses people all day long. That's America for you, too. Well, he does comb his hair over to one side and wear a sweater vest. Well, I guess that makes him a fucking good guy, doesn't it? I say, yeah. That's what I say. Hey, as long as you do that and you go to church on Sunday, you're probably a pretty good fucking son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You're a good son of a bitch. And, oh, fuck you people in your ass. I drove in here the other day and the dude was fucking staring at me. You know what I mean? I guess you can get away with it as long as you comb your hair over to one side, wear a fucking sweater vest. Good one. I mean, because that's what it's all about, It's about getting away with as much as you can get away with while, charading around like you're a good person. That's what it is. Because, hey, if you're not sober, you're not a good person, And I can't really get into all that, too, because a lot of these personal experiences are just... Anyways. Anyways, I was reading a book. It was, I guess the dogs are right. It's the people, But fuck that dog too. That drives me crazy. Yeah. Goddamn people, man. Yeah. I was reading a book. It was, I believe it was $1 Trillion Conspiracy. And he was talking about how G. Edward Griffin had created all these charts and stuff and showed where the anything from him is actually pretty impressive, you know. And it really that's all he almost really had to say, because the guy's stuff, the guy's work is so, I mean, so well established. I mean, he's probably a multimillionaire, you know, from all the books. Dude, he is. I'm sure for a fact he's a multimillionaire. Okay, okay. I'm just saying. Uh, because his book, I mean, everybody's read them, you know. I mean, there's all kinds of people that, you know, I'll have a stack of books and they'll be like, oh, this, that, you know, Creature from Jekyll Island. Oh, hell yeah, I got that. Yeah, I read that. You know, that'll be the book, you know. And it's funny because I actually haven't even read the book yet. And I've read so many different books that have gone referencing him that I feel like I've read one of his books already. But, you know, I've seen some of his documentaries and stuff. And pretty good stuff, man. Really serious stuff. And, I mean, he was doing documentaries back in the 1940s, black and white. And he was like, and it's called the New World Order, kids. And anyways, the point of the story is he had that thing. It was mapped out on a chart, showed how the entire medical industry was monopolized. And anyway, so the point of the story is that those earplugs in, I can't. Point of the story is that that's what that's what I have to justify what I believe about that. Dude, I'm serious. Like, I can hear somebody. It's like I can hear somebody going, oh, okay, like condescending me, and they do it very, like, you can just barely hear it. It's in a really deep. It's like somebody who has a deep voice, so you couldn't hear it over this microphone from there, but I can hear it. And dude, it's sick, man. If I say something about it, it'll generally make this kind of shit stop, you know. But it's like I have to say it. It's like I have to, you know. They won't fucking quit. You know what I mean? I mean, they've done shit that has finally ended that will blow your fucking mind, you know. And I'm talking people. I'm talking crazy shit, man. Okay. I'm talking crazy shit. I'm talking people coming over my speakers and talking to me. You know what I mean? Finally had to make a fucking deal out of that. You know, it wasn't fun talking about it. But hey, I did it. You know, at least I wasn't a fucking coward like you. You know, hiding behind something big. Oh, now you got power. You know what I'm saying? All that reflected power for the first time. And you're fucking pathetic, 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 miserable, miserable. I mean, that's why. Because you are miserable, you know. Life. You know. Because you're a miserable person. That's what you are. You make that decision. And, really, it's just, the remark is you're a miserable person. And there is no, you do it because you're miserable. I don't care, you know. This is how I've classified you. This is how I identify you. Okay? And you know, hey, at least you got that going for you, right? Yeah. Now you're a man. Now you're like a real boy. You know what I'm saying?